Hello everyone, my name is Joey Lynn. We are playing another Sploder game today. Time it's another one of my old ones. It's called Him the Enraged. It's on my old account that I no longer have access to. This is maybe the most frustratingly difficult game in the Epic Game Library, and I'm saying that as somebody who made it. As the person who made it, I probably am going to die several times playing it. I actually attempted to record this video a few nights ago. I died 3 times, got to the very end, and then got stuck. And at that point, I just didn't have the patience to continue. So I'm giving it another try now, although I'm still giving myself permission if it ends up being a similar situation where I get to the very end and I get stuck again. I'm not going to deal with it. I'm just going to leave it at that, because at that point you will have seen pretty much the whole game, and I don't remember how to do the last part. It's pretty much entirely luck based, and that's what a lot of this game is luck based. Um, and I am probably going to be harsher on this game. I may be harsher on this game than a lot of people who didn't make this game. I will say that a user JJS on the forums was kind of talking about this game in clip that's making me see a lot of these like really old hardcore difficult Sploder games in a slightly different uh, light, in that a lot of the time the appeal with a lot of these older games is the level of precision they were operating on. Um, and the appeal was the fact that, like, even though you had to play it a certain number of times, once you like figure it all out and figure out the individual pieces of the entire game, where like the entire game is a puzzle, the entire fundamental structure of a lot of these older puzzle games is the central puzzle, and there's a lot of satisfaction in feeling like you've mastered that game. So that I understand a little bit more why it took us so long to just have this existential moment of understanding that some of these games on Sploder are just entirely too hard. But at this point, I'm still going to bash the way in which this game I created almost 10 years ago, traffic's difficulty, and how we need to kind of raise our standards for the future. So let's look at the first puzzle. Surrounded by nitro, I'm going to explode if I shoot any of these. Pretty simple. You gotta glitch yourself out of the map. Well, not out of the map, just out of the nitro. And then we get into the first instance of what I mean whenever I say like the entire thing is a puzzle. Suppose I just went through there right now, left the nitro as is. Later on, it would get me killed. You have to blow up this nitro before you leave this area, or you're going to die a little bit farther into the game. So I don't. And now we get into the first action scene. Let's see if I can do this. This killed me like 3 times the first time I played it. But this seems like a pretty good run. It really is just a matter of like finding a corner where like the enemy AI doesn't like register that you're there, because otherwise you die very, very quickly. There we go. Yeah, this was quite a good run. I think this is actually. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. This is actually a remake of Him the Enraged. I don't remember the exact date. It might say in the description. No, it doesn't. Um, I remade this game because originally the second half is where the action was. I made the conscious decision whenever I first remade this game to make the first half more action heavy, because with big games like these, eventually they start to lag quite a bit. So the action is kind of front loaded into the first half mainly, so that the second half is pretty much focused on like really cheap ass puzzles. So, what have we got left? Oh, yeah. And he blew up that one. Alrighty. And this next part's pretty straightforward. I walked close enough that the those two would like activate those acid thingies and get themselves killed. And you can see on the map those little squares mean that the acid can still take my health away. Oh god. So just going to wait a second, because whenever you activate one of these acid things, walking over it for a couple seconds would take away your health. And then if you wait for a little bit, it goes away. Cool. And this is the first boss fight. I'm gonna play it fairly safe because I will need health later on. Yeah, this game. Yeah, this is extremely difficult game, even after all this time. He's doing a good job of just walking into the acid, so that's nice. Yeah, it's pretty easy to, like, make the AI not know what the hell to do with itself. There we go. Here's a fun little bullshit puzzle. If you put a bunch of teleporters next to each other, it's very easy to kind of glitch into them and get completely stuck. So if I were to go through like the wrong one of these, there's a good chance I would get stuck and have to restart the game. Go through the middle one and you'll be fine. Here's the first of, well, not the first. This is kind of the first bullshit puzzle. No, the Nitro is the first. There's a lot of bullshit puzzles. Here is like the first, like, really, really outrageous bullshit puzzle. You'll see on the radar here that little red dot. Watch what happens whenever I send a cannonball really far in that direction. Do you see the red thing split up? I'm gonna go ahead and get through this part and then explain what I just did. So, what I just did is, the reason you originally only saw one red dot on the radar is that the cruiser that I just destroyed that you saw was stacked on top of this disruptor. The reason I had to throw the cannonball from behind those weak walls is, I can only split apart the disruptor and the cruiser whenever the AI hasn't seen me yet. If I had come up to those doors before I had sent that cannonball, the cruiser would have just been stuck on the disruptor, and I wouldn't have been able to dislodge it, and I literally would have just had to start the game over again. I have no idea how anybody would ever figure out that puzzle without, like, any kind of cheats. And for the record, all the puzzle answers are in the description, except they're not because this link is actually dead now. I didn't keep up with my FreeWebs account from about 10 years ago. I don't even know if FreeWebs is still a free service, honestly, which would be hilarious. A website called FreeWebs that no longer lets you make free webs. But this next one's a little bit more straightforward. You'll see that you can't get through there, and you'll see that there's an enemy here. And ta-da. Boss fight number 2. I am in a very good place in terms of health right now, so... starting to lag a little bit, but not like... I know, like, some people see this and, like, this isn't bad lag, but, like, compared to a lot of the games in the Epic Game Library, a lot of the time we didn't care, we, like, with the standards that we had back in the day, we really forgave a significant amount of lag if we could, like, call games epic. Okay, so that's good. And... trying to remember what I need to do next. Oh, I just need to go through here. My headphones fell off. Once again, it's very easy to, like, completely forego action scenes entirely through just confusing the AI. And I'm pretty sure I need my cannonballs, so I actually just need to activate two of these guys. For those of you who are unaware of how Sploder mechanics work, once you've destroyed one red key, you can open up all red doors forever, so you never need to actually kill more than one red key. Unless the game is structured like this. And go. Okay, we're good. This is boss battle number 3. Do not destroy that nitro because you need the invisibility. Okay, yeah. If I were to destroy the nitro, this power-up would get destroyed, and I need it. Just gonna activate both of those to get through here more quickly. And then this one's fairly straightforward. Activate that. This power-up is gonna run out fairly quickly. Oh my god. What happened? There's supposed to be an invisibility here. Oh no! Oh shit! I have to restart. There's another power-up here, but I think it got destroyed whenever I was fighting that mortar over there. Well, see you when the edit cuts. Okay, real quick for anybody who wasn't sure what the hell happened there. I'm back at this section, if you remember. It's the red key boss battle. I'm gonna destroy this guy. Because whenever I was on this side of the obstacle, that invisibility that you can see at the top left corner got destroyed by one of this guy's cannonballs. So now I'm just gonna take out this guy. Alrighty, now we're back here. Hello. Goodbye. And this time I should be able to get through this next section. So once again, I need to go down here. In order to go down here, in order to go up here. Okay, here's another installment of this week's episode of How Could Anybody Possibly Figure Out these puzzles without any sort of guide. So, we've already had a lot of puzzles where you had to throw one of the cannonballs at an enemy, and the enemy had to open up the doors. That initially seems to be the case. However, this is kind of different in that in order to get past this one, you have to throw 2 cannonballs like this. I'm not moving at all, I'm just standing completely still at the doors. And you heard those 2 nitros explode. Now I need to push up against the doors, which makes me send the cannonballs farther. And that's how you make it happen. The reason I have to throw the cannonballs in that way is that if you were to throw 2 cannonballs at that cruiser, and now it's trying to kill me. If you were to throw 2 cannonballs at that cruiser in its normal state, in its default state, it would explode, it would run out of health, and you wouldn't be able to use it to open up those two doors. The reason I destroyed the nitro first is that the nitro activated Mojo. Mojo is like acid that we saw earlier in this game, that thing that, like, if you shot it, it temporarily did damage to any enemies around it. Only the opposite. Mojo increases the health of anything that walks over it. So you have to activate the Mojo to increase the health of the cruiser in order to be able to throw two cannonballs at the cruiser, so that it won't die and you can use it to open the door. Once again, how could anybody figure out that puzzle without, like, a hint or something? And while we're on the subject of bullshit, normally you would think to yourself, oh, I need to go through this teleporter in order to get through the rest of the game. That wouldn't happen, though. If you went through that teleporter, you would end up there and you would die. You actually just need to glitch out of the map. This next one's a little bit timing based. I basically need to first wait for that to stop, and then I'm going to activate this, and it's going to be a couple seconds before I can open up that door. And right at the kind of last possible second I can go through that door, I need to activate this. Awesome. And then go through here. And this is the last section of the game. This is where I got stuck the last time I tried to complete this game. And I'm pretty scared to go anywhere. Because I know, like, up in this corner, I'm looking at the radar right now, up in this corner, there's a bunch of teleporters that get you stuck, and then you just can't complete the game. Oh, I think no, we're good. Okay. Ooh, I have no idea where the fuck I'm supposed to go. What the fuck? Wait. I see it. You have to glitch out through this one. Alrighty, y'all. And that is him the Enraged. Another one of these games that's like very big, very there are 7 people who have ever beat this game. I am 3 of them. It's very much a game that's you have to play it over and over again, and just you literally only figure out puzzles by dying and then having to come back to the thing later on. Sorry, I was like getting a text. But yeah, it's another one of these games that's incredibly difficult. Probably shouldn't. You know, I can probably do with like a few of these types of games in the Epic game library, like the really good ones of these. I was a little bit more down on these types of games whenever I was playing Clip, because Clip is a really bad example of one of those. This is and I wasn't even thinking there were good examples of those. And this one isn't really that great either, but there are probably versions of these like really long, difficult games that have their place in the history of Sploder. But again, we need to move toward games that are more accessible. Nobody has time anymore to spend all day playing a Sploder game. I only have time because I know all of these games. Otherwise, I would not be able to do this. I would not be able to beat all of these games. It's that mainly whenever I can beat these really long puzzle games, it's either I know the puzzle answers or I remember beating them when I was a teenager and I actually did have entire days where I could just sit and playing. But now I have work and I have rent. So that's no bueno. Yeah, that's him the Enraged. I hope you enjoyed this video, and there will be more to come. Have a good one!